And now, please welcome to the keynote stage, Autodesk's VP of Developer Enablement, Ben Cochran.
Good morning, and welcome to day 2. For me, one of the most valuable parts of being here is what happens in the hallways. It's the unplanned conversations. And after conversation yesterday, I learned about how developers and partners are reimagining what is possible for design and make. I get so excited about this. We get to see how each of us here is turning our work into an impact around the world. Because DevCon isn't just where ideas get announced. It's where we start the conversation and the partnerships that turn ideas into solutions. And yesterday, we looked at how our job is evolving from automating tasks to automating workflows and entire systems. We focused on the first 2 pillars, build and orchestrate. And today, we're going to look at scale. What happens when agentic AI becomes operational across the business with trusted, repeatable patterns? Amy is going to show us how this plays out in AEC. And Srinath will take us into the world of design and manufacturing. These industries need massive collaboration across disciplines. And it's with agentic AI that collaboration can become simpler and faster so that we can connect not just tools and data, but intelligence across design and make. You're going to hear from 2 customers, Sweco and Synera, about how they are scaling AI projects. Then Daniella will focus on the convergence across the industries and what opportunity that opens us up to. But first, let's start off with AEC. Please welcome Amy Bunszel, who leads the entire AEC business and has a deep passion for solving the problems that this industry has. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ben, and thank you all for joining us here in Amsterdam. As some of you know, I joined Autodesk via an acquisition over 23 years ago. I was a third-party developer, like many of you. My company, Lineus Technologies, built an API add-on that did wire harness design for machinery and other electrical equipment. Now, back in those days, we were stuck in a Windows desktop environment. Here's one of our products from around 1999. And as you already saw, our very stylish 1990s team. So thankfully, a lot has changed. With AI accelerating and our platform built with openness and connected data, the opportunity to build and scale on Autodesk technology is bigger and easier than ever. All of you here, whether you're building software, leading technical teams, or driving digital strategy across your organizations, you are helping shape how the world is designed and made. The AEC industry is undergoing profound transformation. Demand is increasing, along with stakeholder expectations on project outcomes. Resources of all kinds are constrained. And there's an explosion of data and AI opportunities that need to be explored. Autodesk's response to these challenges center around 3 paradigm shifts that are core to our Forma industry cloud, and they deliver true design and make intelligence. Today, I'm going to walk you through where we are now, what we see coming in the near term, and I'll give you a peek at what comes next. As Shelley touched upon yesterday, the first shift we are driving is moving from files to granular data. We used to move massive files, sealed containers of information. But files are difficult for systems to reason about, and they make automation fragile. So we are creating a world where geometry, parameters, and assets are structured, queryable, and continuously updated. It's true design and make intelligence. Second, we're moving from silos to hyper-collaboration. Modern projects involve dozens of disciplines, hundreds of stakeholders, and unfortunately still a lot of disconnected tools. But the work itself has always been interconnected. Design decisions affect cost and schedule. Construction decisions affect design. Teams need to collaborate across systems and phases in the project lifecycle. With hyper-collaboration, stakeholders will be able to access the same models, analyses, and documentation, whether they're working in real time or asynchronously, across mobile, desktop, and cloud. Third, we're expanding beyond model creation to outcome creation with automation and AI. Models are not the goal. They never were. Outcomes are. With granular shared data, AI can reason safely and transparently across systems, driving better decisions and measurable results. Creating outcomes requires continuous intelligence throughout a project, enabling teams to achieve their goals, such as sustainability, cost certainty, schedule reliability, and asset performance. The Forma Industry Cloud is purpose-built to tackle these shifts. So let's take these one by one, and I'll show you how Forma is revolutionizing how you work. As we shift from files to granular data, Forma Data Management, formerly Autodesk Docs, I know you're still recovering from the name change, and I apologize about that. Formerly Autodesk Docs. This becomes the backbone of the industry cloud, and that's why we made the change. We're putting data at the center. It's the common data environment that gives you access to project context, content, and history in a structured and consistent way. For project teams, that means everyone is working from the same source of truth, reducing friction and helping projects move faster. And for developers, that opens the door to building services that reason about the entire project context, not just individual models. You can query state, you can access model references, you can understand relationships across disciplines. Powering this is the AEC data model, which is not about storing files in the cloud. It's about creating better data, structured, granular, continuously updated. That means that Revit data in the cloud is no longer a periodic export. It's refreshed many times per day and exposed through a single data model API. For project teams, that means decisions can be made on live project data instead of outdated snapshots. For developers, it means you can build applications that interact directly with the project, not just a file inside of it. And as you saw yesterday, we're introducing extensibility APIs that let you attach cloud-native data directly to model objects. Not embedded in a file, not locked in a desktop workflow, stored in the cloud and accessible everywhere. You can associate metadata, coordination intelligence, or workflow state to an object and access it across tools without reopening a model. Here is a real-world scenario enabled by Design and Make Intelligence. Pretend you're an architect finishing a modular building design in Revit. Now, the prefab coordinator needs to assign inventory IDs and plan the installation sequence. But they prefer to use model coordination, and they are practically allergic to Revit. Historically, this handoff is where things fall apart. Spreadsheets, emails, data that never makes it back into the model. Well, watch what happens now. The prefab coordinator works entirely in their tool of choice. They assign fabrication IDs, installation batches directly to the model objects. No Revit required. And back in Revit, the architect sees it instantly. Same objects, same data. No reentry, no reconciliation. This is the AEC data model at work. One shared data layer that different people in different tools can read and write without anyone having to leave their preferred environment. This is a fundamentally different way of working across a project team, where the data moves with the model and everyone stays in sync. When data is granular and API first, teams trust the system and developers have a true platform. And that's how we're driving our first big shift. But what about collaboration? Well, collaboration is going into hyperdrive, cloud native, AI powered, built end to end for AEC. Last month, we brought ACC into Forma, and we expanded Forma Build, Forma Data Management, Forma Takeoff, and more. That means planning, design, construction, and operations are no longer separate digital experiences. They're part of one connected portfolio, and that is huge. But the real change is how teams coordinate inside that portfolio. Forma Board, which is now available to anyone with a Forma Data Management entitlement, gives teams a single shared work surface for design and make. Live Revit views, in-canvas markups, threaded comments, AI renderings on demand. Decisions, tasks, and model context stay with the project. Which brings me to our next shift. Earlier, I said we were moving beyond model creation to outcome creation. And here's what that means. Sorry. Today with Forma, an architect can analyze sunlight exposure and embodied carbon right inside their design workflow. Not as a separate study, but as a live feedback loop that shapes decisions as they are being made. You're not designing a model and then checking later if it performs. You're designing for the outcome from the very beginning. And that changes everything that follows. A design change flows into takeoff, into cost, into schedule. A field issue connects back to the model and to the team that needs to act. Now, let's look at how this shows up in the products many of you are already working with today. Yesterday, Vikram and Ritesh announced Autodesk Assistant, our context-aware agentic AI partner. It doesn't just answer questions. It understands the project context. You can interact with your tools using natural language, and Assistant can execute real workflow actions. And importantly, it's built on MCP technology. That means Assistant can call tools, it can orchestrate services. And today, I'm excited to share again that we have launched our very first AEC Public MCP for Revit, which is now in tech preview. It's available to all of you. The Revit Public MCP exposes model read operations, so you can query models, geometry, and their data. And because MCPs can work with each other, your workflows can combine Revit with other MCP into orchestrated chains. And that's how you move from scripts to systems. Let's see this in action. Here's a fun example. So using Revit Public MCP, we can ask Nano Banana to access our open Revit model and give us an image. In this case, let's make it a soft watercolor illustration. And we're going to give it some instructions on style. Maybe let's have a happy person and their dog in the front yard. And almost instantly, we have a beautiful image that's fully accurate to our Revit model. The same could be done for photorealistic images and even videos. And while this example is a little bit fun, there are deeper workflows that can be explored. You can now build MCP-powered assets that assess model quality and propose changes, leveraging structured data and safe edit primitives. You can build dashboards that don't just visualize risk, but trigger coordination workflows. And you can build automation that attaches metadata to objects in the cloud. And because the Data Model API provides a consistent representation across products, you don't need to rewrite logic for each format. Design once and extend broadly. Everything I've shown you today reflects what's possible now. But what matters most isn't what we build, it's how it gets used by all of you. And one company that's really impressed me with what they've done is Sweco. Last year's Sweco was already showing what was possible with Sweco GPT. And since then, they kept pushing, connecting AI more deeply into project workflows and into systems like Autodesk Forma for construction in ways that are practical, ambitious, and very real. Please join me in welcoming Henri Veldhuis, Chief Digital Officer for Sweco Netherlands.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm gonna climb up on this high chair. All right, well, Henri, welcome. I made it. We're excited to have you here. And before we dive in, why don't you share a little bit about what you've been impressed with or struck you at DevCon so far?
I'm really impressed about the journey of Autodesk, and of course I knew a little bit already about this journey, what you're doing on AI, with Agentic AI, with MCP servers. And what I really thought yesterday, okay, Autodesk is now here, but how are we going to engage our clients who have a lot of responsibilities if they want to have created new buildings, new infrastructure? How can we engage our clients in this journey? Of course, we have some experience, but this journey will only go faster the next few years.
It's kind of a whole ecosystem thing that has to take off. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about your company and what your role is?
So my name is Henri Veldhuis. I'm from the Netherlands. So I'm also glad that you all came here to the Netherlands to this conference. I'm the CDO of Sweco Netherlands. Sweco is the largest engineering firm in Europe with 24,000 colleagues in the northwestern part of Europe. We do all the engineering stuff, what you see on a conference like this.
Project of
like
yours
this
back here?
Beautiful, I think, metro station in somewhere in Germany.
Fabulous. And we can take a slight diversion since you've welcomed us to the Netherlands. We brought the sunshine, but I also learned that a very famous event happened right here in front of us. What was that?
You're on, for the Dutch, on famous ground. So approximately 25 years ago, our king and queen married exactly on this spot. So look around and realize this is kind of holy ground for us in the Netherlands.
Very cool, very cool. All right, so back to our regular program here. How did you become so focused on AI in your work?
When I saw your pictures from you from the 90s and these screenshots of applications, I really had to laugh. My digital journey also started in that period. I did a PhD on Delft University of Technology on machine learning, make smart algorithms. But at that time, we failed miserably. So I quit it and went to work for Sweco.
Oh, fabulous. Well, we're happy to have you back in the AI universe again. So things have shifted over the years. So I'm curious to know, what has made it possible now for companies like Sweco to be on this AI journey?
I think we are already on this journey from the early stages when we left making drawers with pens, adapting to Autodesk, of AutoCAD. So it's not the first that we made as a company, but I think this AI journey has become a really huge step and a very fast step. In the past, we could adapt slowly to changes, and now you have to adapt very fast to changes.
And what are some of the changes you've seen? What's making AI valuable to the business?
But I think what AI made valuable for the business, it can be used by everybody, whether you're the secretary, whether you're the business area president, so everybody can use AI. And that's also the way we started introducing AI in all our organization, not by explaining how it works, but just like let people experiment with the technology. So we even did once a hackathon with the management team of Sweco Netherlands, and they could create their own solution using AI. And therefore, we could engage management, and so, and that really helped pushing our agenda.
Oh, that's great, because I think a lot of people here are in various levels of piloting and experimenting. Can you share a little bit how you moved from that experimentation into something used broadly across the organization?
Yeah, so we started experimenting, and we engaged people with lunch meetings, and we got a huge amount of usage of our Sweco GPT solution. It's a chat GPT kind of solution, but very safe to use it within our company. And on a certain moment, we had really high usage percentages, but everybody used it as a kind of personal assistant. That's great. And we believe that if everybody uses AI every day, as a company, we make huge steps. So even if it's a small example. But I think it was last year, somewhere in June, we decided it's good to have this personal assistant, which you can use for your LinkedIn messages, which you can use for making an email. But we want to have AI in every project we do as a company. So I asked some colleagues, can you use the Autodesk technology in combination with the Sweco GPT? And after 3 days, they came back to me and they said to me, we made a solution. It's a Sweco GPT ACC integration. So I'm still used to referring to Forma as ACC. So I have to adapt. They made a video, and then it really exploded. And I think the best thing they did, they made a prompt about sustainability. It's a hot topic for us as a company, but also for our clients. And the second was even smarter. They asked to a real Sweco model, do we comply to a certain ISO standard? And the best thing was, the answer was, we failed. We didn't comply on certain things, so we could improve our model. And that was really also where our management saw the potential of this kind of technology. So don't talk about how you do it. We don't never talk with management about MCP servers. Show them the examples where you can change their mindset.
I like that. That's something we're doing as well at Autodesk, is bringing up those examples and sharing them across the company to inspire people. It sounds like that worked really well for you. So let's talk even a little bit more about what that shift looks like in practice. So you started with this ACC connection. What happened next?
Then you have something running on your local PC and everybody's enthusiastic now. So we really had to develop it in an environment where it can be used by more colleagues. And that's really fun to see how people engage and come with new questions. And then another big step we are going to make is that we want to expand this ecosystem. So it's now using Autodesk data, but we also want to engage Esri with their GIS data and other sometimes typical Dutch tools or maybe Norwegian tools. So we really want to create an ecosystem where just a project manager can ask with one prompt, where did we use this kind of material, or where did we comply to that specification? And they are not interested where this data comes from. They only want to know it's trusted data, and they want to see where this answer comes from, which data sources has been used processing this answer.
That's a great topic, because that leads into trust, right? You just don't want the answer. You want to know, like, where did the answer come from? So how are you addressing, trusting the AI and trusting the results and helping people use good judgment with the AI?
First of all, we have a very simple kind of code of conduct how to use AI. The most important thing is use your common sense. And in some way, AI is not different than classical IT. You never should put financial data of Sweco, trusted client data somewhere in some cloud tool. So for me, AI is not that different from classical IT. And there should always be a human between what we produce with AI and the client. So it's almost forbidden, and I think you would be fired if you just prompt something, not look at it, and just push it on your email to the client. Because what, as a company, I think we sell most is trust.
That's fantastic. I think common sense and good judgment contributes to trust. So last question, when you zoom out, what excites you most about what this could mean for the AEC industry?
Yeah, what I already said before, I see a lot of opportunities where we can use AI in our projects, but how can we engage the clients, how can we inspire them? And I've seen a lot of examples already yesterday, and I hopefully see more today where we can make new things for our clients. And what I also was thinking about yesterday evening when I went home, I think except to trust, I think there's something else which is very valuable in this industry, and I think it's called authenticity. Because if everybody puts the same prompt in the same Autodesk assistant, you will probably get 10 times the same answer. Maybe that's for a client very cool, because then they have a certainty that it's probably the right answer. But I think our clients also want to have authenticity. That if you ask Sweco a request for a design of a building, that they get something which is typical Sweco. And if they ask our competitors, they get a solution which is typical for this competitor. So I think trust is very important. And yesterday I realized authenticity is also very important.
That's fantastic. So can I give you one bonus question? When we were rehearsing, we talked about vibe coding a little bit. You want to share a little bit about how that's taking off or not at your company?
To be honest, I said a few weeks ago to colleagues, MCP is so 2025. For us at the moment, vibe coding is really 2026. And I was yesterday in the presentation where they said you can create a lot of crap with vibe coding. That's true, but it's also impressive to see colleagues solving solutions which in the past would have done in months. Now they can do it in a few days. And it don't even matter if they do it in a few weeks. I see a lot of improvements in software coding. And I also see already our first results with vibe coding on the Autodesk platform. And I think if we want to create trustworthy vibe-coded solutions, you need trustworthy solutions where you can store your data. And of course, Autodesk is part of this ecosystem. That's
fantastic. And I don't know what 2027 will bring, or the second half of 26, but we'll find out. Thank you so much, Henri.
Okay.
Thank you. That was fantastic. Thank you. Oh, can you wait? Could you take these? Sorry. Wow. So what I love about that conversation is that this isn't just theoretical. It's happening today. AI is already moving from individual productivity into continuous intelligence. And what's exciting about conversations like these, though, is that they show how forward-looking teams are already exploring what comes next. They're thinking about how AI will power intelligent systems that operate across real-world projects and real workflows. And that's exactly the direction our platform is headed in. Revit is just the first public MCP. Our ambition is to expand public MCPs across other AEC solutions to unlock more cross-product automation. So imagine reading site constraints, running layout analysis, updating model geometry, flagging downstream impacts. In the future, all of this is orchestrated, all auditable, and all based on the same data foundation. That's design and make intelligence across the entire project lifecycle. And we're not stopping at just smarter tools. Put the building blocks together, APIs, MCPs, the data model, all together, and the opportunities become limitless. The interfaces themselves can completely transform. That means no more navigating menus. Imagine working in natural language, voice or images. Chat, canvas, and model views flow into one experience. A design and make intelligence layer that reshapes how people work. So here is my challenge to you. Because everything depends on accessible granular data, embrace Forma data management. Engage with the Revit public MCP and build on the AEC data model API. Design your services around structured, cloud-native data, not file exports. And design for scale. We provided reference MCPs, documentation, and technical examples right here at DevCon. So start small, compose boldly, and iterate fast. The future of AEC will be defined by who orchestrates the most intelligent systems. So I will leave you with an echo from what Raja said yesterday. The question at hand is, you have now a differentiated data foundation. You have extensible cloud-native APIs. You have MCP infrastructure for safe automation. How will you think bigger and scale? So we've talked about data platforms and AI in AEC. Let's look at how the same powerful tools are shaping design and manufacturing. Please welcome Srinath Jonnalagadda.
Thank you, Emmy, and good morning, DevCon. Manufacturing is living through one of the most consequential periods in its history. Markets are shifting, supply chains are evolving, and customer expectations are rising. Decades from now, we'll look back and say, remember when everything changed? We are in that moment right now. So when the ground keeps moving, what creates stability? I don't think I need to convince you of the answer. You're already living it. Technology, but not as a tool bolted on the side, as a connected, intelligent foundation that brings data, people, and processes together. From design to make, all the way through to operate. And at the center of this transformation is AI. AI isn't just another feature. It's a new operating model for how products are designed, engineered, and delivered. And for everyone in this room, developers, builders, problem solvers, the opportunity is clear. This is your moment to shape how that future actually gets built. But transformation at this scale doesn't arrive in a single leap. It builds. At Autodesk, we frame that journey in 3 stages. 3 stages of customer outcomes. What's ready now, what's coming in the near term, and what's next. And these stages correlate directly to the 3 waves of automation you heard Raji talk about yesterday. Task, workflow, and systems. Today, right now, Fusion, our manufacturing industry cloud, offers AI task automation addressing known inefficiencies or low value-added parts of the process. In the near term, Fusion will use AI to automate a series of tasks, thus reimagining and automating an entire workflow and significantly accelerating time to production. And coming next in Fusion is systems automation, where Fusion will use AI to connect and learn from entire systems. We're going to explore these stages, but first things first. We have to talk about everyone's favorite topic, data, of course, data. I don't think anyone has ever said that sentence with genuine excitement, except for maybe Shelley, Bankim, and me. I can tell from all of your reaction, you are hoping for literally anything else. Okay, jokes aside, data is the foundation. It defines how well teams collaborate, how confidently decisions are made, and how effectively AI can deliver value. And Fusion's data platform has rapidly evolved to support exactly that. Let's look at what that enables now. Once your product data is structured and connected inside Fusion, the next step is making that data available to the rest of your ecosystem. Fusion now exposes a growing set of desktop and cloud APIs, giving precise, programmatic access to product and manufacturing data. Desktop APIs extend Fusion client and automate workflows inside the modeling environment. Cloud APIs let you query exactly what you need without moving entire data sets. This is what makes Fusion part of the digital thread across engineering and enterprise systems. But the bigger shift isn't just APIs. It's AI agents interacting directly with software. To support this, as you heard yesterday from Ritesh, we are thrilled to announce the Autodesk Fusion MCP and the Autodesk Fusion Data MCP. The Autodesk Fusion MCP server exposes modeling capabilities directly from a running Fusion session, allowing agents to interact with geometry, sketches, and features. While the Autodesk Fusion Data MCP exposes Fusion Data Platform, giving agents access to product structures, versions, and metadata. And today, we're introducing something new, our Fusion Automation MCP, where you can run Fusion headlessly without the UI and automate workflows entirely through natural language. Say, for example, you're a tooling vendor and you're looking to power a sales demo, where a sales rep inputs a part, tooling, and setup. In the background, Fusion generates a CAM toolpath delivered in the browser, fully white-labeled. The customer never sees Fusion. They just see the outcome. This is currently available in private beta, and we'd love for all of you to test it. If you're interested, scan the QR code on the screen to request access. Together, APIs connect systems, and MCPs enable agents to act. This is where the call to action becomes real. You're no longer just integrating tools. You're defining how AI participates in engineering workflows. Partners, I hope you're paying attention. This is a great opportunity for services. And one of the first places you'll see this come to life is Autodesk Assistant. You heard a lot about Assistant. Just two more things I want to share with you. First, we are not building this experience alone. Through our collaboration with Microsoft, we're integrating their AI ecosystem to extend what Assistant can do, enabling high-quality rendering and content generation that fits directly into enterprise workflows. And second, we have a new experience coming soon, AI-powered assembly and part reuse. Teams often know the work already exists, but finding and reusing it is slow. Soon, Assistant will identify, retrieve, and reuse relevant parts and assemblies across your organization in minutes. So instead of searching manually, you describe what you're looking for, and the system finds it instantaneously for you. Now imagine how this could evolve. Identifying duplicate parts or suggesting cleanup actions to eliminate waste. So be sure to check out the experience in the expo. You'll see the power of what's possible hands-on. If you can't tell, I'm super excited about this. We've been working really hard to bring this to you at DevCon. It's been a couple of months of effort, collaboration with Shelly's team and my team. This is very exciting, and more to come on this, okay? All right, you can tell I'm even more excited about this than data, because this is the power of what's possible when data, APIs, and MCP come together. Things are moving so fast. There's a lot happening right now. But I'd be remiss not to at least briefly touch on what's happening in the near term and what's coming next. What's near, what's close at hand, will move us from task automation to workflow automation. Instead of assisting with individual steps, AI will orchestrate entire processes, from design through to manufacturing. For example, AI continuously monitors production signals like tool wear or delays, and adjusts upstream decisions automatically. The result? Faster cycles, fewer errors, and systems that improve over time. And next, we move to systems-level automation. When AI and Fusion combine to change not just tasks or workflows, but entire systems. Imagine factories that adapt in real time to supply changes, demand shifts, or disruptions without manual intervention. That's the direction we're heading. And developers, you all will be at the center of building this. All right, so what does this all mean? It means the way products are designed, engineered, and manufactured is being rewritten right now, today. And the tools we've talked about, APIs, MCPs, Assistant, they're not just features. They're building blocks. And what gets built with them is entirely up to you. And this is an important bit. Enterprise AI is moving beyond experimentation. What matters now is proven value, reliability, and seamless integration into existing workflows. The companies that win in this next era won't be the ones experimenting with AI, but the ones applying it to real problems inside real workflows at scale, driving better decisions, measurable outcomes without the added complexity. This is the opportunity in front of you. This is the opportunity in front of all of us. So while you're at DevCon, I ask, please explore the APIs. Check out the part assembly reuse tool inside the expo and experiment with the MCPs. Most importantly, start building, because the future of making isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. Speaking of creating, some teams aren't waiting. They're already building it today. Let me show you what that looks like in the real world. Please join me in welcoming Andrew Sartorelli, Vice President of Software Partnerships at Synera. Yeah. Andrew. Yeah. Nice to have you here. Yeah. Great to have you here, Andrew.
It's a real pleasure to be here.
All right, before we get started, give us a little bit of background about you and Synera.
Yeah, so Synera, we're a Bremen-based company in the north of Germany. We're focused really on agentic AI for mechanical engineers. And not just exciting news this week because we're here at DevCon, but exciting for us because we just announced our massive $40 million Series B fundraising round.
Nice, congrats. Woo!
And so myself, as Vice President of Software Partnerships, I get to spend my time talking to engineers, customers, about what problems challenge them, what softwares they need to integrate with, and talking with amazing companies like Autodesk. And actually, I got my start in engineering software working at Autodesk almost 15 years ago in technical support.
Oh, look at that. Autodesk alum doing big things. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Let's move on. What problem is Synera solving?
You know, I think for engineers, for a while, we've all faced the challenge of connecting tools together. You're stuck doing a lot of manual work, manual tasks inside tools.
Yeah.
You have to be experts in every single tool inside your workflow, right? And that's a challenge. And as you want to work between different tools, data exchange becomes a big problem. Now, with Autodesk, you guys typically do a pretty good job there. But the other challenge we see as I talk to engineers and designers in the automotive industry, especially here in Europe where Synera is based, they're under an extreme amount of pressure. Asia and the US move at a different speed, and they're faced with producing cars not in 5 to 7 years, but now 2 to 3 years, as is the norm. And so that pressure that these companies are under, they need to find a way to innovate and evolve. And that evolution is not going to happen just by hiring more engineers. It's going to happen through automation. It's going to happen through AI that really evolve their processes, evolve their organizations to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of hit a plateau in productivity, so we have to look at the next frontier, and that's where automation comes in, yeah. Right, you picked Fusion for the things that you're doing at Synera. So why did you pick Fusion?
You know, it wasn't just because Autodesk is a great company to partner with and work with.
We are, yes.
Definitely are. Yeah. One of my favorites, I have to say, with over 25 partners. But Fusion provided a unique opportunity for us. You know, typically when a customer comes to me and asks for an integration with a software tool to solve some kind of problem, I have to go and look at 3 to 5 different software packages to really connect their workflow. With Fusion, everything is connected together inside one platform: CAD, CAE, CAM, data management. And so for us, when we made an integration, it was an integration with one product and not multiple products. And as we looked at building out that integration, you know, the nice thing as Autodesk built out the Fusion Automation API, there's so much documentation there. There's so much information there to build integrations on top of. You know, I deal with a lot of other software companies. I can say that it's pretty rare to find good documentation around APIs. And so as we went to build that out with one of our partners, we found that it was just a straightforward process. In a matter of weeks from getting the request from a customer, we were able to build an integration and release it on our marketplace. And the really amazing thing then about that integration is we don't need to have Fusion installed on the customer's machine. They can simply use their API keys. They can link to their Fusion document reference. And they're often running, creating agentic workflows with Fusion in a matter of minutes. Yeah,
you're speaking to the core value of granular data, lightweight data that's accessible from anywhere, and of course APIs that allow you to access that data very easily. Great. What are you building at Synera?
Yeah, I'd love to share a bit more about our vision for the future and what we're doing. I mean, Synera, we're really focused on the core problem of bringing agentic automation to mechanical engineers. Many of us at Synera are mechanical engineers. We live and breathe the problems that engineers face. And we started out a number of years ago building what we call the Synera editor. For those of you familiar with Autodesk Dynamo, it's a similar node-based interface to construct workflows in a visual manner. This allowed engineers to kind of create their processes, but then we realized we're not in this alone. We want to work with companies like Autodesk, and we built the Synera marketplace to allow customers today access over 82 different integrations to different software tools, like Inventor, Fusion, Moldflow, and many other Autodesk products. And what we've done in the last, let's say, 2 years is really bring in this idea of AI agents into the process. I've heard a lot of amazing things about what Autodesk is doing there. We see our customers start to do things with single agents, like data extraction from requirements documents, to pull out the important information. If you get a 500-page RFQ document, you don't want to read through all of that. You want an agent to pull out the key information for you and extract that out. But we also now start to do multi-agent systems. So individuals can create an agent that does design work, that does simulation work, that pulls out this requirements data. Or maybe they want to add in agents from other companies to start to collaborate together to solve really complex engineering challenges that require not just an individual, but a team.
So Synera is not just a tool, it's also a platform, from what you're saying.
Exactly. A platform designed to keep engineers in the loop
Yeah.
and in control of the system.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, open and extensible. We hear this all the time. There's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all. Customers, especially, are struggling with any software that promises to do everything for everybody, and that's impossible. Yeah, great. So what impact has Synera had on your customers?
I think this is the most exciting data point for us to share. So today we have over 2,000 agents deployed by our customers to solve interesting engineering problems. And so we've had a couple success stories from a few companies you might have heard of before. The first one is Airbus.
Airbus. Yeah, I've heard of them, yes.
They had a costing workflow for some of their components. It was taking them 50 hours to go through this process. We brought it down with the help of Synera agents to just under 10 minutes.
50 hours to 10 minutes. OK, impressive.
It gets a bit more impressive than that, actually. We also worked with another company you might have heard of, BMW. They took one of their design workflows from 3 weeks down to just under 5 minutes.
What? 5 minutes? What is this? OK, all right. It's crazy. OK.
And we have plenty of other success stories like this where we've helped engineering organizations scale their engineering expertise, where a single expert in a center of excellence can go off and create a workflow, an automation, and share that with his colleagues across the globe. Those colleagues could be on the same, in the same office, in the same country, or anywhere else in the world. And these engineers can execute that workflow with the same outcome as that expert. Whether that engineer is their first day on their job or the last day on their job, they can all have the same outcome that expert has created for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be key. We are talking about severe labor shortage and people struggling to figure out how to get maximum productivity in a rapidly evolving field. So you're kind of leveling the playing field, making everybody an expert, so to speak. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the mindset here, is that once an engineer creates that agent, that expertise can be shared with all of their colleagues.
Yeah. Great. Excellent. All right. So we're talking about MCP. Henri thinks MCP is 2025. Yes, maybe it's last year's news, but let's talk about MCPs. How are MCPs working out for you, and what do you think is the future with MCPs?
I think it might be the 2025 topic. I'm still very excited in 2026 about MCP. I think hearing Autodesk announce a number of MCP servers is exciting for us because I think overall as a software industry, one of the challenges, of course, has been how we work together and how we create connected workflows across all of our tools. And I really think MCP is going to revolutionize the way that we work as a software industry, and engineers like you are able to create connected workflows between different tools. So for me, that's very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to getting access to the Fusion MCP, hopefully later today.
Love it. You saw the QR code. Did you get a chance to get the...
I took a photo of it.
Excellent. All right. Excellent. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. Thanks for joining us at DevCon.
Real pleasure.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck with everything. All right. If you take away one thing from what Andrew said, let it be this. Think of Fusion as a tool. Think of it as a platform you can build on. Start small, pick a workflow, connect it, automate it, improve it. This is how the transformation happens. And now, please join me in welcoming Daniella Becker to the stage.
Goedemorgen Amsterdam. This is the audience participation. Goedemorgen Amsterdam, and can we do that one more time? Goedemorgen, exactly. 11 days to King's Day. I'm all in. You have the opportunity to join. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Srinath, for your insights, and thank you, Andrew and Henri, for being with us here and sharing your experience about AI workflows. Here in Europe, throughout many exchanges with you, our wonderful customers and partners, I see design, engineering, and construction and manufacturing beginning to operate at the same digital foundations. What used to be different, separate worlds are starting to converge. Amy showed us how AEC teams are moving from files and silos to shared, structured data and connected workflows. Srinath showed us how manufacturing teams are moving from disconnected systems to connected platform, open APIs, AI-enabled systems. You can clearly hear the similarities. Both industries moving from isolated expertise to connected intelligence. From sequential processes to continuous cross-regional collaboration. And the boundaries between industries are also starting to blur. Industry convergence creates new products, new services, and new business model opportunities. What struck with me yesterday in Ben's keynote is the significance of this moment in time. When Galileo pointed the telescope at the sky, it didn't just improve what people could see, it fundamentally changed how they understood the systems that they were working in. The very same is happening here right now. As our technologies become more connected, the boundaries between our industries are shifting, and the way we design and make it is being completely redefined. So what does this convergence actually mean for all of us? Convergence isn't new, but it is accelerating. For years, many of the core technologies in our industries evolved independently. Design systems, engineering systems, construction systems, manufacturing systems, but now these systems are becoming powerfully interconnected. Different industries increasingly built on the very same foundation. And that convergence creates the conditions for AI to scale. But, of course, it also introduces new levels of complexity. When I talk to all of you wonderful people, customers and partners across Europe, I hear a lot of excitement about what AI can do. But then the conversation quickly turns to a different set of questions. Questions about trust, questions about technology fit, questions about scale and impact, and questions about best practices across disciplines. In fact, last year at DevCon, we asked all of you 2 simple questions. What excites you about AI, and what concerns you? So let's take a moment to see what last year's audience said.
I'd always have a little bit of skepticism around AI because I feel like for the last couple of years it's been a big marketing, just catch-all term.
AI solution which we are right now have, they are somehow limited. They are more toys because they can't do a real job. So you can get some visualization which look cool, but you're not gonna show them to the client.
It's very theoretical for me, everything, yeah.
We're international, and so the complexity of AI is how do we introduce it across the different regions and what are the policies that we have in place. And I think that it's great to see what's possible with AI, but in the back of our heads, we're also thinking, what do we need to set up first before we can get to that stage?
Clean data, having it in a format that is useful for AI.
Adoption. Anything new takes training.
AI is changing everything we are doing faster than anything we've seen before.
The field is going so fast, there's almost no time to test it. Before you understand the tool, the next tool is already there. If you're not going with the stream, you're way behind.
Now we can spend time doing more important things and leave the automation to a system that we can trust. Now we can actually embed these on data that we know is reliable.
Connecting everything, maybe even interoperability actually, like agents talking to agents. And I'm very glad to see that there's a lot of progress right now in trying to intertwine all the different data streams that we have. And it's finally coming together to where we can actually build one single platform.
The future is looking very bright, and there's so much opportunities where we can explore.
Wonderful to see so many of these faces back in the audience this year. So 1 year later, interestingly, I'm still hearing many of the same themes. People are still excited about what AI can do, but the question that follows are very practical. Can we trust it? Can we audit it? Can we scale it across disciplines and regions? And can we repeat it on the next project? Because for most organizations, the challenge is not experimenting with AI. The real challenge for all of us is how to make it operationally valuable, reliable, and scalable. Creating systems where human expertise and intelligent technology can co-create, systems where data flows across teams, industries, and disciplines, that's convergence in practice. And that requires two really important things: leadership and courage. Leadership and courage from all of us. And most of all, it requires trust. Not just trust in the model, but trust in people to lead with courage. So that when we can transform how people work together, connected systems, data workflows, and decisions, magic happens. So what does it actually look like? Let me show you with a real-life example of scale by a company that really lived up to courageous ambition. Excite built some of the most complex high-tech facilities in the world. Their challenge wasn't speed, it was consistency. How do we make sure information created in design flows reliably flow across engineering, procurement, construction, without manual rework or fragmentation? So they shifted from tools to platform. Engineers still work in Autodesk solutions like Revit, but through API integrations and a governed data backbone, information now moves automatically across the entire lifecycle. One source of truth. And once data is structured and trusted, AI becomes practical. Models validate automatically, issues surface earlier, and collaboration scales globally. That's the shift. When we build on connected platforms, AI doesn't stay experimental. It scales, and so does your impact. When it comes to AI adoption, in manufacturing, we see the same pattern emerging. As Andrew and Srinath highlighted, Synera operates in engineering and manufacturing workflows where the challenge isn't coordinating across construction phases, it's managing rapid reiterations, simulations, and decision-making across complex product designs to stay competitive. How do you move from manually updating designs, waiting for results, to continuously exploring, optimizing them, and getting results? What used to take weeks to converge in an optimal design can now happen in hours. Andrew assures us in minutes. That's worth applause, absolutely. Thank you. AI handles the iteration. Most importantly, engineers focus on innovation. It's a powerful example of what the future we're talking about here at DevCon. Connected platforms where intelligent systems amplify human creativity and accelerate real engineering outcomes. This is what really makes AI scalable, and this is what scalable, impactful AI looks like in practice. And this brings us back to something we heard earlier. The challenge is no longer only technology. The challenge is integration of human capability and technology. AI becomes meaningful when it operates inside structured systems. Systems where workflows are coordinated, decisions are transparent, and outcomes can be repeated. Those are the kinds of systems Amy and Srinath described. And those are the systems that make AI real, impactful, and most importantly, valuable. We all know that the best teams produce the best outcomes in our business. AI now makes those best practices repeatable across teams, across projects, across regions, here in Europe and across the world. And that is when intelligence really begins to scale. And when systems can scale like that, something else happens. Technology takes on repetitive coordination, the tasks that do not add value slow teams down, and that creates space for something more valuable. The higher order work that Raji talked about yesterday, the work that only people can do. Which brings me to the most important part of this story. It is not the technology, it is the people. AI is not replacing expertise. It is becoming a powerful co-creator, a partner that allows human creativity and judgment to operate at a higher level. Europe has always been a place where engineering excellence, industrial innovation, and responsible technology come together. And many of us in this room are already shaping what this next era of AI-enabled work will look like. If you take one thing away from today, it's this. AI at scale requires human creativity, integrated workflows, and trusted systems. When that partnership works, we move beyond experimentation. We create something that is truly magical. We build systems where intelligence scales, human creativity, the creativity of all of us in this room can reach its full potential. All of us, and I really mean everyone in this audience, plays an important role to lead. To lead with courage, to reshape how we design and make a better world for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniella. Over these 2 days, we keep coming back to the same key ideas. To make intelligence operational, we must build, scale, and orchestrate. But none of that works unless we're willing to do what Galileo actually did. And it wasn't just building a telescope. He was committed to seeing what was truly there. Galileo also pioneered something beyond optics. He gave us the experimental method, the idea that you set aside what you think you know, and you look objectively. You let the evidence lead you with no assumptions and no preconceptions. That idea didn't just change and challenge astronomers. It created an entirely new paradigm for them. And once they were willing to look without the filter of the old Earth-centric model, They discovered the moons of Jupiter, the phases of Venus, and the true motion of the planets. Things that were always there, but invisible as long as they were looking through the lens of assumption. We're at that same moment today. Agentic AI challenges how we built things, the architectures we've relied on, and the workflows we've wired by hand. For those of us willing to look objectively without filtering it through the lens of how software has always worked, something new is revealed. And that's truly what build, orchestrate, and scale are really about. It's not just a new tool set, it's a new way of seeing what's possible. And as you leave here today, I encourage you to look with fresh eyes. What becomes possible if you let go of assumptions? How do your expertise transform AI ecosystems? And what partnerships do you need to scale? These conversations will continue beyond DevCon. And two things that I want to put on your radar. The Platform Leadership Forum at Autodesk University. That's where we can reconnect on how APS is evolving and how agentic AI is expanding our tool set so fast that we can't wait to see what you've produced by AU. And next is for developers. I encourage you to look at the accelerators. This is hands-on time with our teams to build your agentic solutions. It's the fastest and best way to make real progress. 10 years from now, we'll look back at this moment and reflect on why we build and the way we build today. And that's not because we're doing it wrong. It's because the tools are changing so fast that conventional wisdom will not survive what comes next. So I invite you to explore without constraints and ask what the future of design and make will become. Thank you for being here at DevCon, and let's keep building.